PrideArts is very excited to have you join us in viewing Closet Play, our first virtual performance from our new season entitled Reignite. When the plague of the 17th century shut down theaters, the artists took their scripts to the streets and performed for the public. Tonight, we are putting a modern twist on this art form. Our cast of stellar Chicago performers will be taking you on a journey through the duality of two of America's most prolific writers, Mr. James Baldwin and Tennessee Williams. If you like what you see tonight, please visit pridearts.org to leave a donation. Thank you, and enjoy Closet Play, featuring Ricky J, Eustace Williams, Corey Tarha, Robin De Silva, Trenton Baker, Kimberly Lawson, Christian Buford, Jasmine Young, Will Wilhelm, Ryan Lanning, Tiffany Taylor, David Robbins, Joss N. Banks, Joey Stone, and Jerry McIntyre.
It seems to me that the artist's struggle for his integrity, it's kind of a metaphor. It must be considered as a metaphor for the struggle, which is universal and daily of all human beings on the face of this terrifying globe, to get to become human beings. It is not your fault. It is not my fault that I write. I would never come before you in a position of complaint for doing something that I must do. What we might get at this evening, if we're lucky, if the mic doesn't fail and my voice holds out, if you ask me questions, is what is important of this effort. It would seem to me that how arrogant this may sound, I might suggest two propositions. The first one is to the poets, by which I mean all artists are finally the only people who know the truth about us. Soldiers don't. Statesmen don't. Priests don't. Union leaders don't. Only the poets. That is my first proposition. The second proposition is what I really want to get at. And it sounds mystical. I think in a country like ours and at a time like this, but something awful is happening to a civilization when it ceases to produce poets. And what is even more crucial, when it ceases anyway whatever to believe in the report that only poets can make. People, millions of people you'll never see, who you don't know, never will know. People who may try to kill you in the morning, live in a darkness, which if you have that funny, terrible feeling in which every artist can recognize and no artist can define, you are responsible to those people to lighten their darkness. And it does not matter what happens to you. You are being used in the way a crab is useful, in the way sand certainly has some function. It is impersonal. This force that you didn't ask for, and this destiny which you must accept, is also your responsibility. And if you are surviving it, if you don't cheat, if you don't lie, it is not only, your glory, your achievement, it is almost your only hope. Because only an artist can tell, and only artists have told since we have heard of man, what it's like for anyone who gets this planet to survive it, what it's like to die, what it's like to have somebody die, what is it like to fear death, what is it's like to fear, what it's like to love, what it's like to be glad. Hymns don't do that. Churches really can't do it. The trouble is that although The artist can do it. The price that he has to pay himself, and that you, the audience, almost must pay, is the willingness to give up everything. To realize that although you spent 27 years acquiring this house, this furniture, this position, although you spent 40 years raising this child, these children, nothing, none of it belongs to you. You can only have it. You can only have it by letting it go. You can only take it if you're prepared to give. And giving is not an investment. It is not a day at the bargain counter. It is a total risk of everything. Of you. Of who you think you are. Of who you think you'd like to be. Where you think you'd like to go. Yeah. Everything. And this is forever.
The lady is a tramp, a camp, a lamp. The lady is a sight, a might, a light. The lady devastated an alley or two, reverberated through the valley which leads to me and you. The lady is the apple of God's eye, and he's cool enough about it, but he tends to strut a little as she passes by. The lady is a wonder, daughter of the thunder, smashing cages, legislating rages, with the voice of the ages, singing us through. The lady is a tramp, a camp, a lamp. The lady is a sight, a might, a light. The lady devastated an alley or two, reverberated through the valley which leads to me and you. The lady is the apple of God's eye. And he's cool enough about it, but he tends to strut a little as she passes by. The lady is a wonder, daughter of the thunder, smashing cages, legislating rages, with the voice of the ages, singing us through.
A strange house, strange bed in a strange town. Very strange me. It's waiting for you. It's very early in the morning. The silence is loud. Baby is walking about, his foaming bottle, making strange sounds, and deciding after all to be my friend. Dull time is, and yet, since I'm sitting here, lying here, walking up and down here, I see time's cruel ability to make one wait. It's time's reality. I see your hair, which I call red. I lie here in this bed. Someone teased me once, a friend of ours, saying, I see your hair red because I'm not thinking of the hair on your head. Someone else said a long time ago, my father told me it's a terrible thing, son, to fall into the hands of the living God. Now I see what he was saying. Could not see red for lying here in this strange, waiting bed. Nor could my naked eye perceive that color is created by light falling now on me in this strange bed. Waiting where no one has ever rested. Streets, I observe, are wintry. Feels like snow. Starlings circle in the sky, inspiring together and alone unimaginable journeys into and out of the light. I know I'll see tonight. The snow will fall. Freeze our tongues. Scald our eyes. We may never be found again. Just as the birds above, circling in the sky above our heads, are singing, knowing that what lies before them always unimaginable passage, wind, water, air, failing light, failing night, blinding sun. They must get the journey done. They have wings and voices. They are making choices and using what they have. They are aware that on these long journeys, each bears the other. Worrying, stirring, love occurring, terrifying air.
There are days, this is one of them, when you wonder what your role is in this country and what your future is in it. From my point of view, no label, no slogan, and no party, and no skin color, and indeed no religion is more important than the human being.
For nothing is fixed. Forever. 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 It is not fixed. The earth is always shifting. The light is always changing. The sea does not cease to grind down rock. Generations do not cease to be born. We are responsible for them because we are the only witnesses they have. The sea rises. The light falls. Lovers cling to one another, and children cling to us. The moment that we cease to hold one another, the moment we break faith with each other, the sea engulfs us and the light goes out.
Some days worry, some days laugh, some days more than make you mad. Some days more than shy when you see what's coming on down the line.
Some days you say, oh, not me, never.
Some days you say, bless God forever.
Some days you say, curse God, die.
And the day comes when you wrestle with that lie.
Some days tussle, and then some days groan. Some days don't leave a bone.
Some days you pass it, all alone.
I don't know, sister, what I'm saying.
Nor do no man if you don't be praying.
I know that love is the only answer, and the tightrope lover the only dancer.
When the lover come off the rope today, the net which holds him is how we pray.
And not to gods unknown, but to each other.
The fallen mortal is our brother. Some days leave, some days grieve, some days you almost don't believe.
Some days believe you, some days don't. Some days believe you and you won't.
Some days worry, some days mad, some days more than make you glad.
Some days more than shy.
Witnesses
Coming on down the line.
I'm tired. I'm tired of speech and of action. If you should meet me upon the street, do not question me, for I can tell you only my name and the name of the town I was born in. But that is enough. It does not matter whether tomorrow arrives anymore. If there is only tonight and after it is morning, it does not matter now. I'm tired. I'm tired of speech and of action. In the heart of me you will find a tiny handful of dust. Take it and blow it out upon the wind. Let the wind have it, and it will find its way home.
To be with you. The rags of my life are few. Abandoned priceless gems are scattered here and there, I don't know where. Never expected to have them, much less need them. But now, an ache, like the beginning of the rain, makes me wonder where they are. If I knew, I would go there, traveling far and find them and give them to you. You would be amazed. I see your amber color raised, and those eyes, brighter than the jewels, far more amazing than the loot of my looted life. Well, there's my pain. I never thought to think of it again. Pain's no gift. It will not lift you up from the midnight hour. Pain cannot be given, can only be tracked down, discovered somewhere within that catacomb, that maze, that dungeon which my breath built, in which I begin to move now, searching for something to give to you. You would be amazed. I see your amber color rays.
My love was light, the old wife said. Light was my love, and better dead. My love was of such little worth. Stones were but wasted on her tomb. She left no kettle by the hearth, no crying child, nor silent loom. My love drank wine, the old wife said. She danced her empty days away. She baked no bread. She spun no thread. She shaped no vessels out of clay. But how could old wives understand? Eternally my heart must grieve, the cup remembering in her hand, the dance her ghostly feet still weave. My love was light, the old wife said. Light was my love, and better dead.
At break of dawn, the shape of life is chiseled with a keen knife. Angularities emerge from the illusion of curve. This is the outlet of hearts, a special need to hearts when every secret thing is known inward to the very bone. Goodness your brain, a veil of snow can blur this dark intaglio of structured kill. Color plain. I need a thought. Distinct pain. This is the keen, recurrent edge of showing time, the frosty hedge, the sorrow around bird decay, the sword unsheathed in break of day. This is the hour when men who dare shake lightning from their unbound hand challenge to their last retreat. The will to bear, the strength to inflation, and with iron heart, the steel that smites the breast.
I don't think you know how much I love actors. They're my life. They're the blood that keeps me alive. Actors like you and like Candy.
That's that side of you that I don't understand. Why should you care what anybody says about you at this point? You've proved just about everything anybody could ever hope to in your work.
I've never thought of that. What have I proved? Except that I like to write. And
Do you know if you're a success? Do you know what I mean?
I've always regarded myself as not successful because everything I do falls somewhat short of what I would have wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're successful when you fully accomplish what you set out to do.
And you haven't done that?
No.
If the hope of the giving is to love the living, then the giver risks madness in the act of giving. Some such lesson I seem to see in the faces that surround it. Needy and blind, unhopeful, unlifted. What gift to give them the gift to be gifted? The giver is no less adrift than those who are clamoring for the gift. If they cannot claim it, if it is not there, if their empty fingers beat the empty air, and the giver goes down on her knees in prayer, knows that all of her giving has been for naught. And honey, knowing that nothing was ever what she thought, then rises from her bed to curse at heaven. She must yet understand that to whom much is given, much will be taken. And justly so. Child, I cannot tell you how much I owe.
My little one, whose tongue is dumb, whose fingers cannot hold to things, so mercilessly young. He leaps upon the instant things. I hold him not. Indeed, who could? He runs into a burning wood. Follow if you can. He will come out grown to a man, and not remember whom he kissed. Caught him by the gentle wrist and bound him with a tender yoke, which understanding not, he broke.
After you've been to bed together for the first time without the advantage or disadvantage of a prior acquaintance, the other party very often says, so, tell me about yourself. I want to know all about you. What's your life story? And you think, well, maybe they really and truly, sincerely want to know your life story. So you light up a cigarette and you tell them. The two of you laying there in complete relaxed positions like a pair of ragdolls aboard trout dropped on the bed. And you're telling them your life story, or as much of your life story as a degree of time or a degree of prudence allows. And they're saying, until the O is nothing but a faint sigh. And then, of course, there's the interruption. A slow-moving room service comes up with a bowl of melted ice cubes, or one of you rises to pee and gazes at himself with a strange astonishment at himself in the bathroom mirror. And the first thing you know, before you've had time to pick up where you left off on your enthralling life story, they start telling you their life story the exact way they intended all along. And you're saying, oh, until the O is nothing but a faint breath, just as the elevator down the corridor and to the left draws its long, last, final exhaustion breath. It stops breathing forever. Then, one of you falls asleep and the other follows suit with a lit cigarette in his mouth. And that's how people burn to death in hotel rooms.
The darkest hour is just before the dawn, and that I see, which does not guarantee the power to draw the next breath, nor abolish the suspicion that the brightest hour that we will ever see occurs just before we cease to be. Imagination creates the situation, and then the situation creates imagination. It may, of course, be the other way around. Columbus was discovered by what he found. Lord, when you send the rain, think about it, please. Just a little. Do not get carried away by the sound of the falling water. Marvelous light of the falling water. I am beneath that water. It falls with great force, and the light blinds me to the light.
Between holding on and letting go, I wonder how you know the difference. It must be something like the difference between heaven and hell. But how in advance can you tell? If letting go is saying no, then what is holding on saying? Oh. Can anyone be held? Can I? The impossible conundrum. The closed circle. Why does lightning strike this house and not another? Or is it true that love is blind until challenged by the drawbridge of the mind? But saying that one's forced to see one's definitions as unreal. We do not know enough about the mind or how the conundrum of the imagination dictates, discovers, or can disparage what we feel or what we find. Perhaps one must learn to trust one's terror. The holding on, letting go, is error. The lightning has no choice. The whirlwind has one voice.
Suppose that everything that greens and grows should blacken in one moment, flower and branch. I think that I would find your blinded hand. Suppose that your cry and mine were lost among numberless cries in a city of fire, when the earth is afire. I must still believe that I would find your blinded hand. Through flames everywhere, consuming earth and air, I must believe that somehow, if only one moment is offered, I would find your hand. I know, as of course you know, the immeasurable wilderness that would exist in a moment of fire. But I would hear your cry, and you'd hear mine, and each of us would find the other's hand. We know that it might not be so, but for this quiet moment, if only for this moment, and against all reason, let us believe. And believe in our hearts that somehow it would be so. I'd hear your cry, you, mine, and each of us would find the blinded hand.
There's a prejudice that at one time was against homosexuals.
At one time?
Yeah, hold on. When it was a criminal offense, even. Then that's got removed.
The law.
And people started to appear to accept. Back, it comes again now because of AIDS.
It never went anywhere. It never went anywhere. People's attitudes don't change because the law changes. I know that. And the homosexual questions like this is like what we call a racial question. Nobody, no man and no woman, is precisely what they think they are. Love is where you find it. And you don't know where it will carry you. And it is a terrifying thing, love. It is the only human possibility, but it's terrifying. And a man can fall in love with a man, a woman can fall in love with a woman. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's not in the province of the law. There's nothing you do with the church. And if you lie about that, you lie about everything. And no one has a right to try to tell another human being whom he or she can or should love.
But when you wrote Giovanni's Room a long time ago, that was quite a brave book to bring out, wasn't it? It was about love, but it was about homosexual love, but it was about love. But you deliberately put in homosexual love, presumably.
Well, the boy is in the middle. It's not so much about homosexuality at all. It's about what happens to you if you can't love anybody. It doesn't make any difference whether you can't love a woman, can't love a man. If you can't love anybody, you're dangerous. Because you have no way of learning humility. No way of learning that other people suffer. And no way of learning how to use your suffering and theirs to get from one place to another. In short, you fail the human responsibility, which is to love each other.
At the dark street corner where guilt and desire are attempting to stare each other down, presently one of them will light a cigarette and glance in the direction of the abandoned warehouse. Love came slouching along, exploding silence, standing a little apart, but visible anyway, in the yellow, silent, steaming light, while guilt and desire wrangled, trying not to be overheard by this trespasser. Each time desire looked towards love, hoping to find a witness, guilt shouted louder and shook them hips, and the fire of the cigarette threatened to burn the warehouse down. Desire actually started across the street, time after time, hoping to hear what love might have to say. But guilt flagged down a truckload of other people and knelt down in the middle of the street. And while the truckload of other people looked away and swore they didn't see nothing and couldn't testify no how, and love moved out of sight. Guilt accomplished upon the standing body of desire the momentary, inflammatory soothing which shields the union forever and creates a mighty trap.
Let this be my summertime of azure sky and rolling sea, and just myself, enhanced with of children playing in the glory of a carefree, youthful day, and sunshine shining from the heavens, and tears and sighing flood away. Let this be my happiness amidst the earth's swift flowing woe. Let this be my only solace, just to know you love me so. Just to know that we'll go winging far above this earthly climb, hand to hand through laughing meadows. Let this be my summertime.
Tennessee, a man who influenced you profoundly is an American poet named Hart Crane. You have, if I understand it correctly, indicated in your will that you wish to be buried at sea in a manner that would
place my bones close to the bones, the submerged bones of Hart Crane.
Tell us why and what he meant to you.
Hart Crane's life was very similar to mine. He had a very worldly father. His father was involved in the manufacture of candy, mine in shoes. And we had very similar backgrounds. He was overly devoted to his mother as I was to mine. And we both wrote out of an intense personal need.
Was he also homosexual?
Yes, he was indeed. And he made absolutely no disguise of the fact. And he shocked people a great deal.
He must have brought a lot of pain into his life at that point.
Whether it did or not, he didn't care. He drank heavily, unfortunately. But I don't think he gave a damn whether he shocked people. And I've never cared whether I shocked people, because I think people who are shocked by the truth are not deserving of the truth. And the truth is something one has to deserve.
No. I don't feel death coming. I feel death going. Having thrown up his hands for the moment. I feel like I know better than I did. Those arms held me for a while. And when we meet again, there'll be this secret knowledge between us. Amen.
We sure do hope you enjoyed the show tonight. As a special thank you to our viewers, you can head over to PrideArts.org and snag tickets to our next show, Box and Cox, for the new low price of $15. Or you can snag a season pass for all 3 shows for $40. We thank you for your donations tonight and your continued support.